I mean, this has been kind of a MAGA-palooza all this week at CPAC. I mean, we were showing some images of Trump won hats and that sort of thing on tables. And you look at the recent polls, I mean, he's really out in front in almost every poll of the Republican field. I know it's very early, but he won this CPAC straw poll. Is there anything really standing in the way right now at this point of Donald Trump securing the Republican nomination, do you think?
In 2016, I declared, I am your voice. Today I add, I am your warrior. I am your justice. And for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. I am your retribution.
What is good? Osiris here. Thanks for joining Middle MAGA. And had a good day today. Went hiking with the family, wife, 2 kids. Went about 2 miles. Had some icy terrain, but had a good time. Hopefully everybody's having a good Sunday. It's Sunday, so you might hear noises from right above my head. My kids are playing with toys, and they're always very destructive.
Easy.
But let's look at this straw poll. So Trump won with 62%, while Ron DeSantis, the closest rival, came in at 20%. And so that's a ass whipping at CPAC, which really does mean something at this point. It's way early, but it does mean something. I'm going to go over to Jeff Charles. I often do disclaimers just because it's no beef at all. Had good discussion. Jeff Charles is a great libertarian type. Don't know him that well. I just follow him on Twitter. Here, I'm going to respond to this. People don't understand what's happening with Trump versus DeSantis. So Jeff Charles says, he tweets, what I'm seeing in the Trump versus DeSantis debate is kind of interesting. Most who are for DeSantis have tangible reasons why they don't want to go with Trump. Rhetoric, manner, pandemic, Fauci, etc. And I agree with some of those. They say DeSantis is younger and more polished. I agree that he is younger and more polished. I don't want more polished though, so keep going. On the other hand, those who don't want to go with DeSantis are using pretty weak arguments. Jeff, you haven't heard the arguments and you don't understand the arguments. I don't blame you. A lot of libertarian types and even people in this realm don't know what's going on. And I'm not speaking for MAGA. I'm just going to give you my analysis. And the reason why I'm doing this, I don't hear this analysis anywhere. Literally anywhere. Maybe young Nick Fuentes. I don't know who else. Calling DeSantis establishment when he clearly isn't establishment. Arguing that people should. I don't agree with that. I'm not ready to call him establishment, but I'm sure as hell not going to say he clearly isn't establishment. We have not established that. Arguing that people should be loyal to Trump. Nah, that ain't my argument because I'm not even voting for Trump 2024 as of now. If he did pick, Carrie Lake won the VP in that CPAC straw poll. No surprise to me at all. If he picked Carrie Lake, I can't lie, they would make me reconsider. I'm a very big Carrie. I think she's the true face of MAGA. But being loyal to Trump, that is surely not my position. Trying to establish tenuous links to Jeb. The links aren't tenuous to Jeb Bush. Now, I'm not establishing a link from DeSantis to Bush necessarily. You can do that. But the link from Bush to DeSantis is really simple. It's out there. And that is a cause for concern. And it looks like Jeff Charles agrees with that. Otherwise, he wouldn't be calling the establishment tenuous. If it didn't matter, then you wouldn't have to bring it up. I continue. Jeff says, I haven't seen much in the way of substantive arguments to choose Trump again. I'm not making an argument to choose Trump again, obviously, and I'm not against you. See, that's the big thing. I'm not against Trump, or I'm not against you if you do go that route. But that's not my take here. And I think there are some to be made. But instead, I'm seeing his supporters rely more on conspiracy theories and innuendo than any real arguments for why Trump is the better choice. Let me give you the answer, Jeff. You just haven't talked to the right people, in my opinion. With all due respect, this is my reply to Jeff Charles. You don't understand the fundamentals behind this argument. You have no idea what's happening. It's not about policy. It's not about politics. And it shouldn't be. A lot of people forget about this, but the late, great Andrew Breitbart, I think he's the one that made it popular. He might have even made it up. He was a very bright marketer and political guy. He said, basically, politics are downstream from culture. You've probably heard it. It's cliche at this point. But it's true. You have to have a culture, and then the politics and legislation is built off of your society and your culture. Right now, America's culture is rotten and it's divided. So our legislation, our institutions are all going to reflect that. We got to get the culture right. So it's not about Trump. It's been said so often, but forget about the policies of DeSantis. Forget about him. I don't even want to talk about him at this point, nationally, as far as going national. At its core, this is about the millions of people who have joined either a little bit unknowingly or whatever. To me, I would call them populists under the label of MAGA. That's what it's about. DeSantis has not addressed MAGA supporters, period. Not recently. I don't care about his policy if he doesn't understand the national political landscape. I don't want to hear anything about his policy on anything because he clearly doesn't understand the landscape. If he doesn't address Trump supporters. If he announces, he hasn't announced yet.
Presidential run today, do you plan on following?
Wouldn't you like to know?
He's been very coy about it. He said something to the effect that we got 3 months to do some stuff in Florida, and then you might hear something.
I mean, you're obviously running for president. You got the book. You're going around the country doing these events. I mean, what's going on here, Governor?
Tell you what, I'm proud of what we've done in Florida. A lot of people ask me how you do it. But I've got, over the next few months, I've got a big legislative session. We just won a big re-election victory. I made a lot of promises. We're going to deliver on those promises. So finish reading the book. I'm happy to come back and discuss that with you. But I'd like to come back over the next 3 months and discuss a lot of these legislative wins that we're having. For example, we're going to make sure our universities are free from this DEI ideology. And that's going to be a great bill to be able to sign here coming up very soon.
All right. Well, former President Donald Trump definitely thinking about you. You haven't said a lot. I know you've heard what he said. You can see this collision is coming, can't you?
Well, look, Jesse, I mean, he used to say how great of a governor I was, and then I win a big victory, and all of a sudden, he had different opinions. And so you can take that for what it's worth. But, at the end of the day, I think one of the reasons I've been successful as governor is I don't really pay attention to a lot of the background noise. I mean, he's obviously a big fish, but I get attacked all the time from every different angle. And you either put points on the board or you don't. And so I just focus on delivering the wins. And I think we've done a pretty good job of following through on our promises.
Yeah, you've done a great job down there in Florida. Thank you very much.
It sounds like he's at least thinking it over. If he announces, and he's got the money to as well, Trump knows behind the scenes, it seems like he's going to go. He's all ready to go. So Trump has to assume he's going. Everybody has to assume he's going until he says he's not. So if he announces, he doesn't have to say one word about Trump to actually win the primary. He doesn't have to say anything about Trump. But what he does have to do is he has to address MAGA. And that is the people behind Trump. If he can't directly address MAGA, forget about the policy on this or that or foreign policy. Don't care. The culture, the movement of MAGA is more important than the policy. The policy doesn't come without the culture, the movement of MAGA. So you gotta wait till 2028 or turn into a beta for 4 years, be submissive, get on your knees, call him Daddy Don, and put on your gimp suit and let him bitch you around for 4 years. That is a thing you can do. If he doesn't want, I'm not telling him he has to, but that is a thing. That is an option. He can do that and be Trump's VP. If he can't do that, then he is not an ally to MAGA. He is a political enemy, period. And I know that might hurt to say, but I don't care who you are. If you're coming up for POTUS in 2024 and Nikki Haley, sidestepping, we need a new generation, sidestepping the fact of not trying to talk to MAGA. You do that, you're a political enemy, period. The movement is more, not that I won't agree with you when our interests collide, but we're not on the same team. The movement is more important than anything. Any protest that runs has to address that, because that's the cultural, that's the basement of the house, that's the foundation, is the people of MAGA. The millions of people of MAGA is the basement to the house. So if you're going to come in and you say, hey, I want to do renovations, you better make sure that the fundamental basement of the house is with you. Keep in mind, again, I can't emphasize this enough. Again, just my opinion. I'm not speaking for MAGA. Speaking for myself and how I view this, it's not about Trump. It's about the people who support MAGA, and many of them support Trump. The people, the culture are far more important. I think Steve Bannon said it in his epic speech, and I've been saying it as well. MAGA is the most important and powerful political movement in the history of our country. And it's not even close as far as like a populist, authentic, in my opinion, movement by the people. It has produced a culture, has produced social impact, and some tangible political results. Most recently, we haven't seen what Matt Gaetz and the Courageous Six, the Magnificent Six, did ever in modern politics by holding up the speaker vote for tangible concessions to bring power closer to the people. We've never seen that before. That was groundbreaking stuff. Just to reiterate, I'm not voting for Trump. There's many reasons. He's too old. He can't admit. I don't know why he can't call the administrative deep state that sometimes he'll bring them up, but I don't understand why he can't call them treasonous and then say they are to blame for what happened to me during the pandemic. He hasn't said that. It shouldn't be hard. I got a problem with that, even though he's doing the Schedule F stuff, which is good. And the other reasons, I'm not going to digress too much. So as of right now, I'm waiting for somebody else to announce, Comic Dave Smith. If he announces, I'm going to vote for him, but I'm a big fan and supporter of the people behind MAGA. I'll end with this. I want to hear if you've made it through this video. Tell me what you think. I just say stop talking about Trump. Jeff Charles, if you want to discuss this, stop bringing up Trump and anybody else. Stop bringing up his name. I know it's difficult, but stop and talk about the people. I don't blame Jeff Charles or anybody else for making this mistake. Somebody on the live asked a great question. They were like, isn't Trump MAGA? Like, why are you separating them? Yeah, they're separate. When you discuss Trump, you're completely missing the boat. Trump is a part of MAGA. I say he's the mascot, but MAGA is the big umbrella, and Trump is just one of the cogs underneath it or people underneath it. MAGA is not a part of Trump. Trump is a part of MAGA. He goes away, he loses in 2024. MAGA ain't going nowhere. Let me know what you think.
While they go the wide path, I'm heading narrow. On point like an arrow, I'm on a new level. They hate but going downhill like Will Ferrell. I just keep going forward, I never backpedal. Matter of fact, no Drake, I'm going back to back. They try to cancel me, but I flip the script like an acrobat. I bet they love me better if I was banging and trapping crack. Yeah, I used to rap for the world, ain't going back to that. Nah, no insurrection, I'm going in. And they tried to box me up but couldn't hold me in. They keep banning my voice, here we go again. I mean, try to name somebody that I don't offend, I don't know. You scared to be offended, then you won't grow. Coming to America, I'm just letting my soul glow. Thought people was real, can't even holler for promo. They scared that I'm taking they shine. They can take my platforms, but they ain't